welcome to day 2 of our study of the books of Job and Psalms. Now, we're going to the second part and the last part of our overview of the book of Job. We said that from chapters 3 to chapters 31, every time his friends would try to tell him something, accuse him of something, of course, Job would respond. He would try to defend himself. And we can see lots of truths, theological truths about God in their statements. And that's why this is an important book in the Bible. Lots of truths about God, lots of truth about suffering, lots of truth about the righteous person, the unrighteous person. There are so many truths about life here. Now, what happened is that in the process, while he's defending himself, he gets to assert his righteousness to the point that he becomes a little bit arrogant. Now, there comes another player in the story, Elihu. Elihu is probably a friend of Job, of Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. Probably he's the fifth friend. And according to him, he's the youngest. I'm going to read from chapter 32. So these three men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, of the family of Ram, burned with anger. He burned with anger at Job because he justified himself rather than God. He burned with anger also at Job's three friends because they had found no answer, although they had declared Job to be in the wrong. Now Elihu had waited to speak to Job because they were older than he. And when Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, he burned with anger. So now, this another player, another person who came to the scene, and he gave his rants against, at first he lashed out against Job's three friends. And then, chapter 33, he lashed out on Job. And then, of course, Job responded to that as well. And in the midst of all this, what's interesting here, the most interesting part is chapter 38. The Lord answers Job. So finally, these guys were discussing, these guys were talking about, discoursing about life, God, righteousness. You deserve this, I don't deserve this. Finally, God speaks. And at first, the Lord silenced Job. Why? He's become too arrogant. This leads us to our principle. Real faith is anchored not on what we have done, but on what God has done for Him to be deserving of our faith. Okay, faith is trust, right? It's the highest level of trust. And when you trust someone, it's because you know someone is trustworthy. Everyone who believes in God, everyone who puts his trust in God, they know that the character of God is the trustworthy. He is a trustworthy God. He is a good God. That's why you put your faith in Him. You know you can trust Him. But then, at times, in the same way that it happened to Job during the discourse between him and his friends, sometimes we get lost in the idea of righteousness that we anchor our faith not on His trustworthiness anymore, but actually on our own actions and righteousness. While it's true that Job lived a blameless life, he cannot take credit for that. Amidst all our good works and righteous actions, it doesn't give us any right to earn anything from God. Job himself said, "The Lord gives, the Lord takes away." So what right does he have to take credit for something? God doesn't owe us, but we owe Him. And in the discourse, Job kind of implied that God owes him. That is wrong of him. God rebuked Job. God silenced him. When Job confessed of his sin and he repented, the Lord now turned to Job's friends and rebuked them. Now, it is a time when the Lord redeems Job because He knows that he is faithful. A faithful person is not a perfect person. Job doesn't have to be perfect. The fact that he puts his trust in God, that makes him faithful. And the Lord honors him. The Lord redeems him. This gives us a meditation on what real faith is. Yesterday we talked about that real faith is trusting in God no matter what. Now we say that real faith He's anchoring it not on our works, not on our merits, but on the merit of the character of God. Because He is good and He is trustworthy no matter what happens.